Technology in, dogs out. A novel idea that might be worth our consideration. Today's story is about Derrick Clark in Oregon. Let's have a little look at some of the story.
While he was lying on the ground dying. These photos are from a drone that shows Clark's body still giving off heat. After Clark remains motionless, the suit claims an officer releases a dog toward him and watches the dog bite his body. In a photo too graphic to show, you can
The drone video shows officers here and a dog here biting the body of the guy that they shot. So he's lying in the field motionless, and then they sick the dog on him. I thought the dog was to help the officers not have to escalate things, but evidently the dog just gets to bite whoever, whenever. So that's why the technology in Dogs Out makes sense. They have a drone that can find body heat. They could have found the man, dead or alive. They could have found his body heat, and they could have went in there, disabled any weapon that he might have had, kept him alive so that he could go testify. But instead, they allow him to bleed out while the dog goes and chews on him. So this dog that's supposed to sense evil and help with anxiety, he didn't do any of that. The dog just wants to bite stuff. And these type of cases prove that. These type of cases make people hate police officers. They make people afraid of police dogs. So in the beginning of the story, the man was running away in his car. Supposedly he was under the influence of something. Maybe he was, which means he's more likely to run because he was probably more afraid. But if people that run away from cops see these types of stories, they're just going to run away harder. They're going to punch that pedal to the metal and try to get out of there because they know what's in for them. Bullets and then bites from dogs. So in future cases, when you see people running away from police officers, how are you going to blame the people for running away? I know that many people will say, well, they should have just followed lawful orders and everything would have been fine. Well, okay, maybe. Or maybe the police officers would have sicked that dog on him. And when it comes to lawful orders, the police officers have lawful orders they're supposed to follow too. They're not supposed to use the dog as a torture device. But yet they use the dog as a torture device and they get away with it. As far as I know as of now, they say the two officers involved in the shooting, the ones that fired their weapons at Derrick Clark, were found not guilty. But what about the dog? Now, when the dog dies or when the dog helps be part of a crime solution, they give the dog all the accolades. How come the dog is never charged when the dog does this to a person? The person was disabled on the ground, not running, and then the dog was allowed to chew on the person and bite them up. So, yeah, I'm thinking technology in, dogs out. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on with these dog stories. The police officers themselves get overexcited by the barking and squealing dog that's in the back seat of the car. If you watch some of the videos of this case, you can actually hear the dog in the background yelling and yelping. All that does is ramp up cortisol and other stress hormones, other fight or flight. And when the police officers hear that, it ramps up all of their stress hormones and makes it harder for them to make a good decision. So the presence of the dog is also overexciting the police officers and also overexciting the person that runs away from the police officers. So as I showed earlier, they have heat sensing technology, the heat of the car, the heat of the man's body. They could have used that to capture the guy, catch the guy, chase the guy, identify the guy. He's running away and he's overexcited from this car chase. So his body heat is going to be a lot higher than everyone else too. So they could also use that to identify him. So in this case, there was no need for the dog. They didn't utilize the dog to catch the guy. They utilized the bullets and grenades, and the dog came in later to chew the guy up. So, yeah, dogs out, technology in. Sounds like a good concept to me.